least at this phase of the game. So I wonder, do the Highland Ravens pick up the pace the second they take over to level 5? Try and play around that Ven Scream combo? Or is it Sino that gets active first on map? And even where would you put that pressure if you are Sino? I mean, rotations towards Ven always feel great. Anytime you can shut down a Scylla or a hyper carry out of mid, it's ideal. But it's easier said than done. Ven's got a lot of survivability on this pick. Very long dash, good CC immunity and movement speed in that ultimate. Could make it difficult for a god like Erlong Shen, who is so reliant on landing those auto attacks, to actually do meaningful damage.
Teleported in by Scream, Venenu and Sino both poked down to about half HP, resustaining with potions in his hand. But I want to bring up at least the recipe that Venenu has gone for, because for the mid laners, it's traditional mid, either gooseberries if you're a hunter, or bow if you're any kind of burst mage, you want any kind of CDR. But we've been seeing a few of these mid laners go towards this party punch. Is there anything from this item that kind of screams to you that works really well as a mid laner?
Well, if you're playing a mid laner that can be choosy with target selection, I think it makes a good deal of sense to me. Just a little bit more burst, so higher kill potential. You really want that first wave of abilities from Scylla to do the majority of the work, right? If Scylla is allowed to free cast 20 times in a team fight, that's also good, but for the most part, you're going to see Sick'em, Crush, I've completely run away, and I hope whoever I hit with those two go down, so I think this starter fits that style pretty well. And because Sick'em is not AoE until it's fully maxed out, you're not really struggling to choose your target.
Sign on the Erlong Shen. If you look at his match yesterday, it's 3 games of Bologna, 2 games of Naja, and I asked him at the end of the set, I said, what's up with you in the Bologna? He says, sometimes it's just a Bologna game. Sometimes I just feel like playing the god. And I think that pretty much sticks to what we know about Sino. When he finds something he wants to play, he'll go towards it. But this Erlong Shen feels very similar in playstyle to the Bologna, an ultimate for good initiation, though you don't get to jump in with it. A lot of in-hand damage to try and back us up against these enemy gods. Is there something in this matchup that maybe favors this Erlong Shen as a pick versus the Bologna he was playing yesterday?
I think it's more initiation for sure. So when you have something like Umoja, who has good initiation, but is very dependent on where she herself is standing, not very easy to just riptide into the enemy backline, then throw up the River's Rebuke. Having someone that can go in first, throw up that 9 turns blessing, say, all right, we got them all corralled here. Let's get the walls spawned up around them. Let's get the punches from Baskin. I think goes a long way. Sino is pretty dodgy when we asked him about the Bologna, but I just gotta think it's when you want a frontliner that can also disarm. That's the primary thing. So things like Freya or hunters with dedicated stims, you'll see Bologna as a pretty decent answer. We don't exactly have that here for the Highland Ravens, so someone with more standard initiation finds a little bit more value, which is why I think we're looking at an Erlong Shen.
See if Sino locks into Loot Executioner is typically where he's been going in this kind of first slot, though kin size always an option as well, so we'll keep our eyes on where Sino goes with his build path. And for me, how many items do we see Paul go before he inevitably picks up Prophetic Cloak? From what I've been noticing, it's been 3rd item, get your book online, get a pen item, and then go for a little bit of defense. So we'll keep eyes on both the players here for the Ferryman. But for the Highland Ravens, both of the duo stun out, stuck inside the River's Rebuke, but there is an opening to the end of the wall that Zatman and FERRYMAN are able to walk out of.
And Cyclone Spin actually spots out Scream towards the tail end there. I was waiting for it, the telltale Cyclone Spin dash in. Seems like Scream was waiting for it as well. Unfortunately for the jungler of the Highland Ravens, it never comes through. And after Cyclone Spin spots out, the jungler says, okay, well, I'm not exactly interested in a 3v2 fight, backs himself out. That shows some of that kill potential, that turnaround potential immediately the 6 Ferryman duo lane has. That stun into immediate River's Rebuke lockdown. Didn't work out this time, but it probably will pretty soon. I say soon. Those are long cooldowns.
Hefty cooldown for Aurora on his ultimate. Standard for Cyclone Spin on the Ishtar. So I want to maybe pivot the conversation towards the Highland Ravens. Started out this phase, week 1, 0-2 losses. Weren't able to find too many successful matches for them. Week 2, completely flipped that, 2-0 for themselves, now sitting at a 2-2 standings, coming to their only matchup here of the weekend against the Styx Ferryman. Is there something from week 1 into week 2 that really kind of stood out from the Ravens to maybe bring here into week 3 in their matchup against the undefeated team?
Oh man, Ven Scylla went crazy last time we saw it. that comes to mind. The Highland Ravens have always been a hyper-competitive team, certainly capable of controlling pace throughout the early. I think it's just playing their own game and sticking to the picks that work, and it seems like they're doing exactly that. Sino trying his best to control that neutral camp on the left-hand side. We've already had Zapman use his ultimate. There's not a lot of fight back left here.
Ult used from Cyclone to Zapman, but a fast impale from Zapman puts Cyclone out of position. Ultimate down from FERRYMAN, and now from Venenu as well, using that I'm a monster, but doesn't get the damage that they were hoping for, misses the target they were intending it towards. And so the fight over the shield buff kind of peters out to a whole lot of nothing. No real relics used, and just a few ultimates traded out.
Scream able to steal away that speed buff. Considered the red, but realizing Paul was nearby, so the safer call is to go ahead and move in towards that speed, and he makes the correct decision there. And even had Ven landed the ultimate, I don't think there's really enough damage in play to take out Sino. Zapman and Hurry took the safe route through tower, so wouldn't have been able to follow up either. But I like the idea. I think warming up your shot early in the game when it's going to be low risk, certainly valuable to Ven. Well, the 6th frame of the Highland Ravens not able to strike Pater just yet. This game's just about nearly dead even. I think the only thing really separating them is that invade now for Scream. We'll start to see some of that reward, some of that lead build up as he clears out his own jungle. Otherwise, slow-paced game doesn't necessarily benefit one team over the other. If we were to go to that 15-minute mark and maintain goose eggs in the kill column, it's not as if one composition is just by and large better than the other in the late. But it is a team fight composition through and through for the Highland Ravens, so you gotta think. We haven't seen the Fear No Evil just yet. Could be a massive difference maker.
Is this comp for the Highland Ravens one that pilots best in the late game, or is there a better curve point for the Highland Ravens to where they need to take advantage? We'll hold that thought again. His ultimate from Cyclone's been, he has been so willing to just toss that ultimate out seemingly on cooldown. Anytime someone steps up to shield buff, he's been using that aggressively towards the Highland Ravens. Doesn't come up with anything this time except a set of beads. Actually, that's from Venenu off the efforts of Sino and Paul in the mid lane. Removes those ones. Not going to get anything once more over on the shield side.
No, not just yet. I think both compositions are good late. I wouldn't say either hits like a massive mid-game power spike. There will come a point where Paul is just tankier than you'd really expect from a Baba Yaga thanks to Prophetic Cloak. So that would be a good point of the game for the 6th Ferryman to play through, that immediate power spike for Baba Yaga. But the Highland Ravens are essentially just Jay chilling until Ven's got one-shot potential, until you can get Haddocks out of that soul lane, start burning some of the beads to facilitate Scream out of the jungle, and until FERRYMAN can leave that dual lane as well. So maybe we see some action around the Gold Fury in the next 6 or so minutes, but until then, I think the most we're going to see is poking and prodding around those jungle buffs. We're not going to see an overcommitment on a 3-man jungle buff steal or anything like that. But playing a slow game right now, making sure you're mitigating loss, controlling as much neutral farm as possible. So far, the Highland Ravens did a great job of exactly that. I would like to see Scream get a bit more active, but considering its transcendence in first line to what I can only assume is going to either be... Maybe it is just a Soul Eater, right? Maybe he decides to double stack. And if that's the case, it's going to be a real long time until Scream gets involved. Throwing out Fear No Evil just to burn resources and create opportunities for your allies, even if you're not going to commit on it, could be valuable. It's better than just keeping it on cooldown. Or off cooldown, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah, you got that.
Thanks.
Speaking of Scream,
yep.
Haven't seen him use Steel Speed. It's been really quiet out of the Ravens. It's mostly been the Ferryman trying to go for these little engagements. Shield buff comes up, Cyclone
like
walks over, throws an ult. We saw Sino get a double taunt on FERRYMAN and Zapman. I think like right at the very edges of both ends of that 9 turns blessing. Gets an ult from FERRYMAN, but we haven't seen the Highland Ravens make an aggressive play for a fight just yet. It's just been the 6 Ferryman. Maybe some of that coming from what you were saying about Scream, the Transcendence, Soul Eater potential immediately after that. One thing I do at least spot immediately with my eyes, kind of looking over some of the builds, is 3 different breastplates being started up. Breastplate of Valor has become very popular, and it seems that in this set will be no stranger to the players. Not all of them guaranteed to go breastplate, but given how the meta has been the last couple of weeks, Probably so.
Yeah, breastplate of determination just feels really good. Perhaps the most valuable clip in the game right now. 20% CDR is pretty hard to argue against, and decent survivability, of course. So I wouldn't hate seeing some breastplates across the board. Keep my eyes on anti-heal, too, because looking at all the sustain the Styx Ferryman have got, you're going to need to devise some answers to that sooner rather than later. Ven seems to be going down that Divine Ruin path as Sino goes forward.
Gets a double ult, but waits out the ult from FERRYMAN before Cyclone pulls the trigger. Now the River's Rebuke. Hurry's got nowhere to go. He pops the Phantom Shell to walk through the wall, but when there are 4 Ferrymen surrounding, there's not much distance that you can cover. FERRYMAN goes down. It's Paul for first blood.
Great initiation from Sino, gets everything started. That cost everything the Styx Ferryman had in the tank. Not a single ultimate still available. With that, you don't really poke out Ven. Scream's still relatively healthy. Zatman healthy. So you can't even look towards that Gold Fury. It's just a small win in a jungle skirmish. That resets our game right back to neutral. All the Highland Ravens have done in the macro up until this point, collecting all that neutral farm. Immediately washed away by 1 kill to the Order side.
You wouldn't necessarily believe a fight even broke out. If you look at the health bars of the Ferryman, none of them had gone back to base just yet. They're still alive and healthy, though some sustain coming from starters, life still built up. Or, in a bit of an awkward spot, Venenu looking for a way to land that ultimate against Aurora. Does manage to clip him right on the edge of the inner circle and takes him out. So first kill for the Highland Ravens off of a very odd positioning of Aurora.
Aurora likes to get aggressive, wants to be annoying, and sometimes that opens him up to getting gone on in the jungle. I love what we saw from Ven there. Just holds on to the ultimate. He could have used it sooner, but says, well, if you're just going to keep juking in small circles around my ADC, I'll just not shoot it, and we'll make sure Zatman lands all of his auto attacks. Keeps it simple. So eventually, once that timer starts to run low, shoots a shot and connects it. Ven still is behind, though. He spent a lot of time in the jungle, hasn't he? We've seen 1 rotation from Paul over towards that duo. I think we've seen Ven there 3 or 4 times now. It's going to net him a small lead. Paul, that is, towards the center of the map. It seems like anytime Sino's there, Highland Ravens aren't exactly interested in taking a fight. So Stygian Beacon, first one. It's also over to the Order side.
Paul yesterday on the Baba Yaga, there was a distinct point I remember when it's game number 5, Nika walks into the lane, finds Paul, or I guess Paul spots him out. Double potion and drops the first ability all on top of Nika, does about 1,500 damage to him in about 2 seconds. Just kind of showcasing the power that Baba Yaga has, even in the early game. You get maybe a good bit of potion luck. And we see Paul constantly trying to use those up against Venenu around that beacon. Didn't connect with any of them. We're already starting to see potential damage output that Paul and Venenu can have for themselves. Level 15 now just hit for the mid laner of the Styx Ferryman. The gold hasn't gone anywhere, even with the first blood for the Ferryman. Highland Ravens finding their immediate response back after for Venenu. So both these mid laners getting a kill for themselves. We're not really seeing any real gold lead pop up for the 2 teams just yet.
No, but we have hit a major power spike. Paul finished up that prophetic cloak. And so, incredibly tanky right now, very difficult to shut down, and the Highland Ravens going for a relatively low jungler, or low damage jungler in Hunbox will only exacerbate those issues. I mean, if Scream can make contact with Paul when Paul doesn't have ultimate or beads, might have enough damage with the help of Ven to knock him down, but someone's got to burn those resources first, and I don't think Paul's really had to use either of them just yet. 14 minutes in, both relics just untouched for now. Both teams content with the pace of the game. We're starting to reach that point, though, where death timers are getting just long enough, where Gold Fury really is a viable target. POV should be joining the map sooner rather than later. So kills starting to go up in value. Every minute the game goes on, kills become a little bit better. Every individual fight gets a little bit more onus put on it for the rest of the game. I am still so concerned because the Highland Ravens really have not been looking for all that much aggression. We don't know exactly what their team fight start looks like, who's initiating if it's not Haddix. Most likely it's going to be Scream, but even then, Scream's got to burn the beads because no one else is doing it.
Baskin does find a nice little pickup, push on a Haddix. Chips away at his HP, but Haddix being on Hades means that he can resustain just about all of that once these waves meet one more time. I think you're right to continually bring up that the Highland Ravens, they're just not doing a whole lot, especially Scream. He is not throwing out hardly any damage just yet. You look over, bottom of the damage charts, just over 1,000. Sure, Paul hasn't done much either, but
we're one ability from catching up.
Yeah, but Paul's just been sitting here, you know, throw out a potion here and there, try and poke at Venenu, but maybe just miss the potion. Throw out the first ability, maybe just miss out on there. Whereas Scream has only really been active on that one fight on the left side of the map over by Purple, which is started by the Styx Ferryman. So when is that time for the Highland Ravens to try and start getting active? You wait for a Gold Fury to kick off, you wait for the Pyromancer to be available, which is, well, I guess right now. I mean, where's that point for the Highland Ravens and for Scream in particular to really try and get active?
Really at any moment now, J-Mac. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, Ven's got a massive bit of damage already stacked up in build, so Fear No Evil and I'm a Monster would be a death sentence for just about anybody on the Styx Ferryman, and Aurora hasn't exactly gone for the tankiest build on the planet either, so he could even be a pretty decent target for the Highland Ravens trying to isolate on map. But looking at the composition from the Ravens, because they are so reliant on Haddix in the team fight, they need that Hades there to make sure that once beads are down, someone's getting value, or to burn the bead so that Scream can get value. I wouldn't be surprised to see them keep that pace slow. I say that, egg on my face immediately towards that Gold Fury, but that's that potion you were talking about from Paul. This is what happens when you allow Paul to free farm for 16.5 minutes. He's going to show up, make contact once, already nearly has his Prophetic Cloak stacked up. Potion's doing upwards of 500. All of a sudden, that Gold Fury doesn't seem nearly as feasible as it once was. So the Highland Ravens reset. Still just bide their time, waiting for an opportunity.
Heat check at Gold Fury by the Ravens. Now heat check at Pyro for the Ferryman. Started up, and Andy walked up, but was met by a single potion from Paul. Thought twice about walking into the jungle. Paul just pumped the rest of his damage towards Pyromancer, and the first objective of the game goes down 17 minutes in for the Styx Ferryman. The second beacon is about to spawn in. Highland Ravens are the first ones there. Try and start that one up. Aurora could go for the flank around the side. As we pan back over to Cyclone Spin, I want to take a peek down to the lower part of his build. Item we haven't seen in quite some time, Mifflin. Demon Blade picked up.
I mean, it's crit XE, that's what I call it. Yeah, land your crits, all of a sudden things get a little bit better. Some attack speed stacked up too. I mean, it leverages well, considering how that shotgun auto attack works for Ishtar. Even the pronged auto is going to proc the passive on that item, so should be able, given the opportunity to get in close, to really do some damage now.
Speaking of doing damage, Paul used the ultimate, pushes Hurrywin and Venenu away from the beacon. Baskin shows up, misses the pickup on Hurrywin. Sino fights off against Scream, and it's a Fear No Evil used, and Sino didn't even pop his beads during that. He held on to it the whole time, still has ultimate as well. There's no fear coming from them on the side of the Styx Ferryman. They cap the beacon, and now they go towards the Gold Fury. The Highland Ravens have vision on this. They know that it's here. The entire team starting to group around. Gold Fury down to 30%, reset as Baskin to the middle of a couple of them. Big ult from Cyclone and a boulder to the back line. There's just not enough damage from the Ferryman, not enough return back from the Ravens yet.
Sino's tanky, but he's not tanking a magic, not just yet. Haddix in first, that's a massive ultimate.
But there's nobody around him to follow up from it. The ultimate from Aurora cuts the entire Gold Fury pit off from the Highland Ravens. It isolates Haddix from the rest of his team, and a second kill now for the Ferryman.
My heart goes out to Haddix. Had the eye of the initiator there, saw a massive Pillars of Agony and said, all right, if my team can just get in range, we would have cleaned this one up easily. I think willing to trade out his own life too, but a better play from Aurora, make sure that there is no follow-up, and the Highland Ravens take the scenic route all the way around that left side mid-camp. Get there just in time to watch Haddix fall down. So 1-0 trade. And Haddix has to spend some time in the grayscale thinking about how it happened to him. But the Styx Ferryman have not been able to turn it into anything just yet. Gonna hurry, be a great start.
Picked up, jumped against the wall, uses the ultimate to try and get away, but he's stunned out by Aurora. Picked up by Baskin again, and a boulder hand delivered to him. It's a kill for Baskin, 3 for the team, and Hurrywin falls for the second time.
Man, Hurrywin was getting picked up on cooldown there. Could not buy any space. Baskin locks him down. Now it's the Styx Ferryman in a much better position to look towards that Gold Fury. The Highland Ravens, that's a good indicator of how they're feeling. Just nowhere on map, not going to defend. Scream doing his best to mitigate loss by taking farm away, steals away that red buff. Maybe he'll grab that speed if he thinks he's got the time. All the while, though, Sino was of like mind, said, look, my team does not need me around the Gold Fury. They're winning the team fight regardless. Nearly knocks down that tier 1 tower on the right, but instead is still at least able to farm up some of those waves, keep himself closer to even with Scream.
Haddox, quick dash away. Met with by Scream. It's Baskin and Sino now continue pushing up the right side, or at least Baskin scaring away Haddox and Scream, and allow them the opportunity to now go back and pick up their blue buff. But Baskin can't yet, still holding on to green from their push-up earlier on, so we'll have to wait and come back and pick up that buff a little bit later. But now it's the Ferryman. I don't know if I can necessarily call this a significant lead, but our first lead of the game here. 2,000 in gold up for the Styx Ferryman. Levels relatively even across the board. You just look down from at least the middle downward. It's 1 level lead for everybody on the Ferryman. Scream with a slight lead over Sino at this point to about the tune of a level. Still a relatively even game here, 21 minutes in. It's just the 3 kills for the Ferryman plus that Fury. That's netting most of them their lead.
It is, and now Pyromancer the only real feasible target on map. Gotta be where you imagine we see some of that action erupt next. The Highland Ravens now, we're late enough in the game where I think the waiting phase is over. It's now time to start throwing some haymakers. It's time to start fighting back. Could be that we wait a little bit longer so that Scream can get some percent pen. Believe it's going to be Serrated Edge in that 5th slot. If that's the case, you have really delayed your game now. The Highland Ravens essentially allowing the Styx Ferryman to choose every single engagement up until this point. Hasn't cost them too much. 2,000 some odd gold, not exactly massive, especially at the 22-minute mark, but 2 will turn to 3 if you don't start showing up. Pyromancer pulled. Only Ven nearby for only a moment as he sentinels back towards his own tower. It's another free objective for the Ferryman.
Your team has destroyed
2 Pyromancers, 1 Gold Fury, all for the Ferryman. Maybe some of what's keeping at least the Ravens as close as they were. If you look over at the top left, 9 totems that did go to Haddox, so a nice little infusion of gold coming from the solo laner, but outside of that, it has been control now for the Ferryman around the map, keeping the shield buffs. I mean, we saw constant little scuffles around the shield buff. Cyclone Spin goes for an ult on 1 or 2 just to see if he can either secure the buff or get a relic. More often it was just the former of them, get the buff away from them at that point, but now it's been all Styx Ferryman in control. Tier 1 tower goes down, Aurora shows up, uses ultimate and burns the shell away from FERRYMAN, but Aurora will be just happy with that. Okay, I used an ultimate, long cooldown, got an even longer cooldown away from her.
Yeah, but now the Highland Ravens can try and force a fight immediately. Oh, you don't have River's Rebuke, all of a sudden our team fight looks a little bit better. Doesn't exactly matter if my Phantom Shell's down if we're fighting while River's Rebuke is down, but instead, once more, reset to neutral. Haddox on the right side, Scream on the right side. These guys are just farming. So Beacon should just go to the Ferryman once more. Power Spikes hit though. Level 20 for both Haddox and Scream means starter items should be upgraded. Surely now's the time you want to get more than 2K from your bots.
Cyclone uses ult, gets jumped from Zapman. Baskin shows up, misses the pickup this time. Zap uses the ultimate, there's a boulder that is spent immediately with Zap not down just yet. And I'm a monster from Venenu. Does not land the damage that he was hoping for, though. Take a look at Sino's HP in the red, nearly dead. He'll have to head back to base. The Styx Ferryman got exactly what they were hoping for. Maybe not a kill, but at least push the Ravens away. Could set up for this next Fury, but now the Ravens are already starting to regroup around.
Yeah, beads off of both Ven and Zapman, so valuable. Baskin's been landing just about every pool that I've seen him throw out so far, so next round of pools might just take out one of the 2 backliners on the Highland Ravens. Ferryman have opportunity now to make the decision of, do we want to just group up on gold, take the fight there, or do we want to do it on Fire Giant? Fire Giant would be much more difficult at this point, considering the gold lead has only continued to shrink since last we talked about it. So Fury, a bit safer, a bit lower stakes. A decent opportunity now for the Ferryman to throw their weight around. On the Ravens, see what the response is. So far, neutral objectives have just not been their MO, have not been willing to defend it. And the Ferryman need to concern themselves with the opportunity of the Highland Ravens to just say, oh, you're on Fury? We'll look towards the Fire Giant. Might just be the call here. Ferryman reveal their hand, though. Baskin bringing the wave over. Essentially shows what's going on.
The Ravens now know exactly where, at the very least, Baskin is. So they pull away from Fire Giant. Sino will continue stay away from the team. Goes over to the left-hand side. Tier 1 tower does go down as the Titans will clash at what was the Tier 1 for the Highland Ravens. The Ravens, the entire group of them, just sitting over here in mid, going back and forth between the Fire Giant and the lane. Scream, haven't seen a whole lot of him just yet. 2,300 damage, and the last time he put in damage was when he was 1v1ing Sino a little earlier on. Now goes to the backline for Haddix. It's ultimate on 3, and Relics burn from a couple different ones. Aurora still in the middle with the Rivers. They'll fly down in. Zapman trying to take down Cyclone Spin, but needs the help from Venenu. I'm a monster. Takes down 1, and the damage after brings a double for Venenu, but he's got to use Aegis to try and get away, but Paul is on top of it and picks up a killing spree for himself. Now Haddix pushed back by Baskin, shoved against the wall, and waiting for the follow-up from Paul, but just not there yet. Baskin won't give up the chase. Still goes to the knockup, but a dash away from Haddix gets him back to safety.
Makes contact with FERRYMAN, who should be able to resustain him quickly. Shout Zapman, that was some of the most aggressive on her positioning I've ever seen. Had to clean up that dive for his team. Desert Fury well placed and auto attacks afterward. Just barely enough damage to keep him alive. Looks like he might be able to turn things around with that crit build playing on wave, but already too low. It already used too many relics. Firemans are pulled, as is FERRYMAN, but that pillar might have just kept him safe.
Baskin gets the push, gets beads away from him by Scream, and Sino will turtle form out. Stun, still waiting for the heal to come through, and it does, but Scream's out committed to the dive in the backline, and he's barely got any extra health. Not gonna live through this one, no. It's Paul with the firebolts from the house to take him down 4 in a row for the FERRYMAN's mid laner.
I get it, Scream. You're playing a triple sustain build between Soul Eater, Serrated, and Bumba's Hammer, so you think to yourself, I could jump in here. I'm going to heal up plenty. No issues. My cooldowns will come back quickly. Not fast enough, and that knockback from the Home Sweet Home really seals his life. So Scream, 30 seconds to grayscale now, but it does get a lot done before he goes there. Look at the beads. Look at the relic situation on the 6th Bandit. They might have numbers here. It'll be easy to do the fire.
Fire started. 4 on site. Baskin to the left. Making his way towards the back line. FERRYMAN and Zapman spot. They just now do. Zap gets an impale. Throws up a pillar to block Baskin away, but Baskin's only picked up 1 and Zap out a River's Rebuke to lock in just FERRYMAN. Is there a damage collapse in after? He's already used the ultimate. A boulder is thrown towards Venenu instead. Taught back from Sino. FERRYMAN has lived for far too long, and Sino will make sure that he goes down. 1 pick for the 6th FERRYMAN. But Baskin still lower in HP, sitting around that halfway point.
Yeah, FERRYMAN forcibly isolated there by the 6th FERRYMAN. Torn apart immediately after one. Fire Giant down to 50%. The Ravens don't look like they're willing to give it up, though.
Sino dives towards Zapman, keeps up the aggression, but a Fear No Evil from Scream will put Sino down. He ended up beats, but no! Baskin shows up! The double push! The jumps away! Zapman can't get the job done! Paul shuts him down! It's a rampage for the mid laner. Baskin pulls off the hero play and saves his jungler.
It's a TP in from Baskin that puts him in just the right place at the right time. Sino, what is it, 1 auto attack from getting knocked down, but Scream did not quite have it. So, our Ravens once more take that slow pace, allow the 6th FERRYMAN to choose the fights over and over, and this time that fight may just result in a Fire Giant. 10%, nobody nearby to defend, the 6th FERRYMAN coming out ahead. Fire Giant on all 5, plenty of towers to collect gold from. Gold Fury itself still up as well. It's not a fast game, but it's been solidly in control of the FERRYMAN this entire time.
This was nearly 15 minutes, nothing. A 1-for-1 trade at one point, and then just nothing going between these two teams. Maybe 1,000 to 2K gold, and now suddenly it's the 6th FERRYMAN up 7,000 and climbing nearly 8K up at this point. We'll work towards Primal Fury. A couple of towers still standing, and 3 runic bombs in pocket. All 3 of those Pyromancers dropped by the 6th FERRYMAN at the Primal Fury to their pocket, and a small reset. FERRYMAN to go back to base and spend up some of that golden pocket.
What power spikes are we still looking towards? Recipes, Sino still holding on to his, as well as 2 runic bombs, as he said. Has enough for a full Magi, so Scream, who has really only been able to find that impact off of Fear No Evil, gonna have to work a little bit harder now to get it. Beads burning's been hard to come by. Now he's gonna work through Magi's on multiple targets through the 6th FERRYMAN with Aurora and Sino sporting some fashionable bubbles. They start to work their way down the center of the map. Siege potential for the 6th FERRYMAN is actually pretty high, JMac. Space control thanks to Aurora, Battle of Attrition. favor to the Ferryman by Fire Giant, as well as just having that Yemoja on your team means that you can kind of play it slow on tower line. But the Highland Ravens do have that immediate win condition of, did Ven just hit 3 people with his ultimate? If yes, awesome. Good luck surviving after that. Hard to ask for, though. All that CC lockdown we were asking for a little bit earlier, all that setup for Ven hasn't really lined up just yet. It's going to get harder before it gets easier.
Sino, Baskin, team up the mid, the rest of the Ferryman to the left. First runic bomb from Baskin, and the Fear No Evil by Scream. Puts a threat towards Sino. He's going to use the turtle form to get out, but he can't. Panic's able to chase him out, but I'm a monster. Used by Venenu. Doesn't land on a target this time. The Styx Ferryman come up empty-handed on both Phoenixes.
Scream played that perfectly. Knocks out that second bomb, I believe. Just gets rid of it. Says, fear no evil, you're not finishing off the bird. Sino forced to retreat. Dies with wounds on his back. So the Highland Ravens maintain the base. Looked to me like the Ferrymen were a little bit overzealous there. Wanted to play a bit faster than they needed to. Could have just poked and prodded the mid Phoenix. Played it slow around the sustain like we were just talking about. Instead, that all in gets them punished. Maybe cost them the rest of this Fire Giant power play.
Pyro by the Ravens. And secured for their team. Styx Ferryman get the beacon in response. So the first neutral objective on the map for the Highland Ravens does go their way. Roar's pushing up really deep with Baskin. They don't even have Sino back just yet. It's the last runic bomb. It's fizzled out instantly. The Highland Ravens turn and burn on the consumable, take it off the map, and keep their bird alive one more time. Stray boulder from Baskin. Doesn't hit anybody, but keeps the Ravens from pushing in.
Yeah, call Scream the bomb breaker because he's stopped it twice now. Styx Ferryman just not able to get that mid Phoenix, and it is a zero-sum game. Either knock it down or you don't. It will be regenerating while we wait for that Fire Giant to respawn. I think the Ferrymen get a lot done with the Fire Giant. I mean, even just exposing all the birds, clearing out the neutral objectives, pushing their gold lead a little bit further, certainly valuable. It's the biggest gold lead we've seen up until this point. So still certainly favored around that next Fire Giant fight, but seemingly would have liked to get more done there. Classic Ferryman play. You'd expect them now on the Highland Ravens to see the Ferryman setting up on fire, getting those wards down, preparing for that next dance. Instead, concentrated effort from the Order side to catch someone straggling in the jungle. Unfortunately for them, their trap is set, but nobody going to walk into it. So instead, reset, go pick up some of that vision, look at the pockets, plenty to play with, and then move out towards that Fire Giant. You want to control defensive positioning there. Don't allow the Highland Ravens to get there first. It'd be so much harder to work into the position than it would be to hold it.
Also noticing 6th item from Aurora, Abyssal Stone picked up. Believe this is a anti-cooldown item, if I'm not mistaken. Hit somebody with an ability, increases the amount of time it takes to cool down, to get those abilities back off cooldown, I should say. But the Styx Ferryman trying to push up for a fight. Baskin does manage to get a push, and as the fight breaks out, let's take a listen in with the Ferryman. Styx Ferryman for a moment there, wondering if they can keep going with the fight, but then you hear the no, pull back, we got this, head towards fight. They find the one pick on the Zapman. Now the Highland Ravens, they keep pushing towards. Sino goes in, gets the Fear No Evil away from Scream. He doesn't have any relics to keep his back up on Monster, doesn't take him down. Jin from Cyclone and Paul are just enough. But look at the low health bars on the Ferrymen. They're forced out of this fight.
Baskin's pretty far forward. Sicka might be a...
No,
It's the L! Ben has been handed the L next to the Fire Giant. Paul, +1 from the RNG gods, takes him down. Ben, 60 seconds of the grayscale. You see him shaking his head. He knows Paul got a bit lucky there. And it's the Styx Ferryman who get the first strike. Knock down Zapman. Sino makes the call to back up. And here's the pay dirt. Immediately back to the Fire Giant. Baskin back in. And the Highland Ravens got nothing to say about it.
Slamming crit after crit to the Fire Giant. This one goes to the Styx Ferryman. It cost them Sino's life and nearly cost a little bit extra.
Whoa,
the Ferryman
whoa.
Scream. 3-man Fear No Evil nearly gets something done, but it's only Aurora who's really punished by it. Ultimate from FERRYMAN, that Undying Love to bail him and Scream out, but keep eyes on Baskin. Rotating on the backside of this fight, gets the pickup, gets the push on the Scream. But the Monkey's able to jump away, Scream out of this fight, and FERRYMAN stunned away. Zapman low, has to go back to the fountain. This might just open up Phoenix for the 6th Ferryman, because Scream doesn't have ult. Aurora does. FERRYMAN's by himself, but doesn't have the Phantom Shell as the bailout. The Ferryman, they win out their fight, they get the bird. Now they're trying to get out of the fight.
Maddox on chase, doesn't have that ultimate, so not able to lock down the Styx Ferryman. Forced to back himself up there. So right side bird taken, Styx Ferryman play it quick while the Highland Ravens were still reeling from the Fire Giant fight themselves. And let's talk about the Ferryman, man. We've really been singing the praise of this team, the shot calling, a lot of it rooted around Cyclone Spin and Baskin. Clearly Sino getting active in the comms there too. Made final decision on when the Fire Giant needed to go down, what the target selection was going to be. Love to hear it. The Ferryman clearly keeping their heads on a pivot. It's the Highland Ravens now. They're back against the wall. They spend the entirety of the first 20 minutes of this game biding their time, waiting for their opportunity to play the team fight. We're there now. 6 slotted on just about everybody. It's only FERRYMAN. Still holding a recipe in pocket. For the most part, Relic's upgraded too. Highland Ravens aren't going to get much stronger than this. Styx Ferryman, though, having played with a lead and having a 6-0-3 Paul. 9 out of 10 affected kills. My man's got an elixir of power hanging out. Red buff, EFG. He's tanky, he does damage, he's anti-healing. He's doing everything you need, and it seems like the RNG god's also on his side. Paul, I mean, sometimes things just line up.
We'll talk about how rich Cyclone was after all of that. Went back to base, bought an elixir of power,
nice,
a power potion,
nice,
and fully upgraded his beads and Aegis.
Nice.
That is nearly 5,000 gold that this man was sitting on after all of that. Got to go back and spend it for some major power spikes. Bought a sentry on top of that.
5,120.
Only thing that he may not have had enough gold for was, I guess, to upgrade the Deathbringer, so he just buys a sentry ward instead. But that is an immense amount of gold and a massive power spike now afforded to the Hunter, the 6th Ferryman. With all, almost not all 5, Sino down. The only life cost during all of that for enhanced fire, but all the most important member of it still, Cyclone Spin. See if they can try and push down one of these Phoenixes. Right side already down. Mid now, the threat for the Ferryman.
Hasn't taken much damage just yet. Keep your eyes on the Runic Bomb. Sino's holding one himself, but busy distracting Haddix. Call it a distraction. He's hurting Haddix. Sends him back with that leap. All the while, Mid-Phoenix finally starting to take some of that damage. Gives Cyclone Spin just the barest moments alone with the bird. It doesn't get knocked down every single time. Highland Ravens hold on to every single one of their cooldowns. Every ultimate's still available. Every relic's still available. Not willing to overstep. Don't want to lose defending a bird. It seems to me the Ravens, I mean, they might even let this left one go down. Defend on Titan, you got to earn it there.
Venenu misses all of his damage against Aurora, who can seemingly take up this Phoenix forever. Look how much HP this man is sitting on at this point. Phoenix down. A few stray in-hands from Cyclone Spin are more than enough. And the 6 Ferryman can reset themselves.
So on right side Phoenix, it's Paul who uses Home Sweet Home, makes contact with Zap. Zap says, I haven't even got to shoot an auto attack yet. I'm already down to 50%. Forced to reset, not present to defend on the right side. On the left side, it's Cyclone Spin saying, hey, my auto attacks go further than everybody else's. Just one was Zap. 600 damage crit. Zap says, man, I haven't even shot an auto attack yet, but I'm half HP. I'm going to go back to base. Can't do anything. It is so difficult for the Highland Ravens to take space. And that is one of the primary win conditions of their team fight. You need Scream in the backline. You need Haddix in the enemy backline. And they just can't work through all this poke the Styx Ferryman are tossing out. Now with all of their Phoenixes down, the game will simplify into an enclosed space around their Titan, but I'm thinking all that poke also translates to Titan damage for the Styx Ferryman. They might be able to do it just in the face of the Ravens. They've got the CC immunity to play with. People are getting tanky too. It's not just Elixir of Power. There's 2 in pocket, by the way, for the Styx Ferryman.
What's on Aurora?
Elixir of Defense for Sino. What's Aurora got? What did you spot, bud?
No, Elixir of Power. That one is on Aurora.
That is on Aurora. Goodness.
Yeah. He said, I got enough defense. I want to hit.
He's tanky. He's tanky already.
Damage.
Maybe. I mean, he's going to do more damage than you'd expect, legitimately. Emoja has really good power scaling. Scary stuff for the Highland Ravens. I think they seem to think, should this Fire Giant go down, maybe you just lose the game. So they're pretty far up here, but they're a lot faster.
Well, Minion Waves pushing up left. Fire Giant already down and beads away from Haddix. First from FERRYMAN, just creating zone, but Aurora got Riptide 1, Riptide 2, and a pickup by Haddix. will find Hurrywin out of position. Cyclone used the ult, it stuns down 2, but Hurrywin's got no legs left to stand on. Knocked away by Cyclone Spin, the Styx Ferryman with a 5v4 advantage. Haddox doesn't have any resources left except ultimate, and he's losing all of his health even through that. The Ravens still standing with 4 though. The Ferryman, they've only got the right Phoenix left to deal with.
And I think Cyclone Spin's got a few words for it. It's gone. Didn't even get to share the words, just shot off 2 auto attacks. 4 standing for the Highland Ravens. Ultimate on Scream and Ven. Gonna have to come up massive between the 2 of them. Scream has all of his resources though. Blink and beads. What do the 6 Ferrymen do here? Wait on some minion waves? It's gonna be a second. 30 seconds on Hurrywin though means they've got a second to play with.
Both the carries of the Ferryman, Paul and Cyclone, still have relics. Scream
Good
can't
pull.
do a lot of work. Haddox picked up, pushed back, Scream to the back. Doesn't even get the beads off of Cyclone until the end of it all. And
Look at the
Cyclone's
Titan.
down. It's a double from Haddox, but it was all a distraction, so the Ferryman can walk in, take the Titan in game 1.
That was a very slow-paced early. Both teams confident in their ability.